Welcome to Summer Games, the place to find new strategy games. And since it's the beginning of September, I thought it would be really nice to have top 5 strategy games of summer 2019. So the rules for these games are that I had to play them in either July or August 2019, and they had to some sort of version of them had to come out during that time. Looking at you, Robotorium. And first of all, I just want to say that both Cliff Empire and Mutant Year Zero DLC are disqualified, and the reason for that is because they're both absolutely amazing games, and I already have them in my top 5 for the whole year, so I didn't want to kind of take the space of these other top 5s, but if you have not played any of these games, Mutant Year Zero or Cliff Empire, or you have not at least watched someone else, hopefully me, play these games, you should definitely check it out because they're both amazing games. Alright, but now let's go to the top 5 strategy games of summer 2019. Number 5, The Governor. Now what I love about this game is that it combines a lot of different aspects to it. So first you have turn-based combat with a twist where the actions actually happen simultaneously, so you have to guess what the enemy is going to do. Then you have sort of like a economic / city building phase where you upgrade different kind of buildings to make a lot of money so you can buy better weapons and stuff. Then you have quest part where you can sort of solve different problems, save people, and do all sorts of quests. And there are also going to be pets coming into this game, and you can get married eventually and stuff like that. Now, right now it's in early access, but there's a lot of coming to this game, and I'm already having lots and lots of fun with it. So definitely recommend this one. Number 4, Wildermann. Now this game is currently in a beta, and what I love about this game is the focus on the story. This is a very beautiful game. It's a turn-based combat game, and it sort of has like comic book art style, and it really feels kind of a bit like reading a comic where essentially you're creating your own story. So in between combats there's like sort of events that happen, and you can sort of control what your characters do, and it creates their desires, their relationships and stuff like that. And then the story really continues, like the relationships affect the combat, they affect what happens next, and it's really like writing your own story in the game, which I think is a lots and lots of fun. Also, the combat is very interesting in the way they behave when it comes to magic. Instead of having like typical wizards who do things, you sort of fuse with different environmental objects, and depending on the object you can use certain things. For example, if you fuse with something that has wood, you can usually do splinter blast, which does a lot of damage, or you can fuse with rocks and get some sort of armor. So it's more about using the environment the right way than actually making stuff like the wizards do. So I think that's really interesting. I had a lot of fun with this game, and I feel like this game is kind of unique because it gives you a little bit of a different experience than a lot of other turn-based combat games do. Number 3, Immortal Realms Vampire Wars. Now this is a beta that I was able to play. It's a closed beta, and it is only a very, very small portion of the game, but you can already see from the beta that this game is going to be absolutely amazing. First of all, I love how beautiful the game is. The graphics are absolutely fantastic. Every character is beautiful. The voiceovers are great. The music is great. Like, the packaging is just fantastic. Now, the turn-based combat game is also very interesting. You have typical stuff like facing matters, so you can get like flankings. Each character has different abilities. But what I especially like is kind of the way it combines like the normal turn-based fighting with sort of like a card game element, so to speak, where you have sort of these cards that work as spells so that allow you to do additional things, so you can kind of combine these two things together. You also have an interesting system in how the resources work, that you have like a special mana resources that you use up in combat that only gets regenerated outside of combat, and then outside of combat everything you use counts as blood points, which you then need to use to get more by, for example, eating populations, which then means you cannot recruit stuff. So I like it sort of kind of combines all sorts of together in a really interesting way, and I'm very, very excited to play more of it. Now let's go to number 2, Irtus, Lord of the Dead. Now this is kind of like reverse Darkest Dungeon. You're like the lord of the monsters, and I especially like that instead of just being able to kill the enemies with just like regular damage, you also have this idea of having like stress damage, where essentially you can kind of stress the enemy out, and if you stress them out enough you can cause them a heart attack, which is a really, really interesting feature. They also have a lot of choices of the minions, which I quite like. Like there's like, I think it's like 20. You start with a few unlocked, then you have to unlock more once you do stuff. So it's a really fun game and I very much enjoy it. And especially like seeing the different minions and trying to create like different combinations. I quite like that. And now finally, number 1, Field of Glory Empires. Now this is a 4X game. And it's absolutely amazing. First of all, you have a lot of different countries, and each one of them sort of like plays a little bit differently. Sometimes they have special units, sometimes they have special conditions, and some are really easy to play early games, some are really easy to play at the late game, but really hard at the start. There's a lot of different variety, which gives you a lot of different playthroughs, so a lot of replayability, which I love. Second thing I love about the game, that the game is simultaneously sort of very complex, but also very simple. And what I mean is that there are a lot of sort of features that kind of working kind of like in secret. Like maybe you don't actually do anything, like you don't, for example, the way the trade works, it's kind of like sort of hidden in the sense that you don't actually choose like I want to trade this or I want to trade that. No, it kind of works like automatically. And if you know how that works, you can kind of utilize it to make a lot more money. But if you don't, then it like doesn't bother. And I feel like this game is very complex in this sense that there are a lot of things like this that like if you don't want to worry about them, you don't have to. But if you do learn how they work, it can make your games that much more easier, that much more like deep and complex, which I really love about this game. And it's a lot of fun. I think they really worked on it very well, and it's a really cool game. I highly recommend it. Okay, so let me know what are your top 5 games of summer 2019, and you can click anywhere to watch some of my Let's Plays of some of these games. I'll see you in one of those. Bye bye!